Hi Rehan, hi Krishna. Krishna, it's glad to have you back on the panel. So we'll start with you. If I were to ask you to describe last match in one word, what would it be?
Ashes, right?
Yep,
I think England kind of
one
screwed
word,
over
Krishna,
themselves.
one word.
Chaotic.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Rehan, one word to describe Travis Head's innings on the final day and the second day of the test.
Destructive.
Okay, Krishna, you may continue.
I think it lasted for 2 days and it was just crazy the amount of action that was going on एक ही time पे. And England had the upper hand for 4 out of the 6 sessions that were played, and it was pretty crazy, to go from what seven effectively 100 for one to be getting all out within in the same session and losing like 4 wickets in 7 or 8 minutes, all due to stupid short selection. So yeah, I think this was the best chance for England to have won a match in Australia, and I think they've screwed it up, and now it's going to be a very, very long tournament for them. I don't see them winning a test.
Agreed. Rehan, did you come to know that the pitch was rated as extremely good by ICC? Had it been in India and the match would have gotten over for in 2 days, despite the pitch conditions being good, I think it would have been deemed satisfactory or not satisfactory. So obviously double standards are there, but we are not here to discuss that. Australia go in unchanged for the second test. The test is a day-night affair at the Gabba. Um, there is no Mitchell Starc. There's no Pat Cummins. There's no Josh Hazelwood. But it did not affect the Australian spirit in the first test match. Do you expect Australia to dominate going into the second match again?
Yes, I think the momentum is with them. Despite them not having their best players, they are still in that top form. It's about consistency, Naman, and I think Australians have been the masters of being consistent. Whereas England, you see in the last 2 or 3 tours that they have made to Australia, uh, glaring weaknesses even then. You saw their openers not play that well. If I think of names on the top of my mind, there was Rory Burns, Dominic Sibley, who both had a very weird stance and weird way of playing. And then there was someone called as Mark Stoneman, someone who only got to play a couple of test matches. There was David Milan who played. So they have not been consistent and the performances have been dismal.
Correct.
Even Zach Crawley got out on a pair in the first test. So it's a long uphill battle for England to go forward in this Ashes. Uh, Speaking of Australia again, batting seems absolutely sorted. There might be a debate on whether Usman Khwaja will open or not. I think they should stick with that same plan. Let Usman Khwaja open, bring in Travis Head at 5 or 6. I think that's more suited. That brings in balance to the side. If you see the fast bowling battery also, Brendan Dodgett had a very decent debut, is what I feel. He was consistently bowling around that off stump channel and he was not too unfazed. He seemed like he has been playing test matches for a while now. And the only point of debate could be whether you play Lion or not, or you could play a fast bowler like a Michael Nesser.
I was
So,
about to ask the same thing to Krishna.
yeah.
Should like I remember the last time Australia played a pink ball test in West Indies, they bundled out West Indies for what score of around 40 or 42. But I think Mitchell Starc being a pink ball beast, he's obviously selected. You've got two other fast bowlers. Do you bring in someone like a Bo Webster and long in your batting? Because Cameron Green is back to bowling at least a bit, and you don't need more than four fast bowlers. So maybe Bo Webster, Cameron Green can become your fourth fast bowler together, and you have three straightforward fast bowlers, or you, again, as Rehan mentioned, you go in with Nathan Lyon. That is a question that I would want to ask you, Krishna.
Irrespective of Nathan Lyon, I was hearing Michael Vaughan in the overlap. He said that he was looking to play Bao Webster instead of Usman Khwaja, pushing Travis Head up top, and then elongating the batting lineup, including Lyon there. Now, if you want to replace Lyon with Nisar, that's a parallel argument to have. But if you want to elongate the batting and get Bao Webster in, you'll have to, shuffle your batting lineup with Khwaja out. and
But
that is the
then,
only.
yeah. But then the only problem with that is that you have no experience in your middle order, because if you have three, I would say Cameron Green is still a new face to Test cricket because he was out for more than a year and he's making a comeback. You know Alex Carey is not in the best of forms, and then you will have someone like a Bo Webster who just played maybe couple of Test matches or maybe five, a maximum of five. So if you have five, six, seven on such a, I mean, there's no Pat Cummins as well, so you don't have batting at number eight. That is the like one of the things that Rehan and I were discussing in the first match preview. So, do you a question for you? Do you think Travis Head is more suited as an opener or a number five batsman?
I feel that Travis Head is more suited as a number five, but the thing is that Usman Khwaja has been really poor for the past year. I think there are glaring weaknesses in his game against pace. He's
Hmm,
been getting out to any sort of pace bowling that he even Shamar Joseph was troubling him. Even in the World Test Championship final, you saw was it Rabada troubling him? Bumrah,
correct.
though everyone gets troubled by Bumrah. So I feel that Khwaja is a big weakness for Australia, and I think that uh, pushing Travis Head up and then elongating the batting lineup with Bow Webster, who will also give a few overs of pace, might help because, of course, you've got the destroyer in chief Mitchell Starc with the pinch ball with the pink ball. So I think that might be a way to go. But yeah, I mean, I understand why Rehan's saying that you might stick with Khwaja because of his experience.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, he's been poor for a while. How long of a rope will you give him?
True as
Just to
well.
add to Krishna's point, I feel that outside Australia is done well because the stats show us that he has scored runs outside Australia. But I agree with Krishna completely. I think with pace, he has not handled it that well as he used to. In his earlier days, I think he's not that young anymore. He's turning 39. So I think that would be his last series probably. And it's okay. I mean, if he doesn't make it to the side and Bo Webster comes in, they might not still look a weaker side. They might just look even stronger.
Agreed. Now, talking about England's point of view, there was a practice match that was scheduled in Canberra, but none of the England first choice 11 players turned up for the match. And in response to that, when asked, Ben Stokes said that conditions are completely different in Brisbane and in Canberra. So there's no point of us sending our players over there. Rather, have let them have rest. And also, it's been like I remember it's been more than 7 or 8 days since the first test got over. So, does a long break like this actually affect a team like England, or after a defeat like that, such a long break would be even worse because they want to get out on the field as soon as possible and prove themselves.
I
You
mean, it
anyone can
depends on
answer.
how you take it. I mean, it depends on how you take it, Naman. See, in another situation, uh, people enjoy game time.
Correct.
So you have experience under your belt. You are in the best of forms. You are still relevant to the game. That's what we spoke about yesterday also. That practice doesn't hurt. I mean, game time is important to you so that you get a practice, get a hold of things. After a defeat like this, my personal opinion would have been that they should have played the match just because the batting doesn't seem that strong anymore. Especially Ben Stokes himself has been in a poor run of form. His batting is much more important than his bowling, is what I feel. The England side needs him as a batter. Uh, Big runs are expected out of him as a captain. So maybe they should have played that practice match.
Agreed. I completely agree to that. In terms of changes, do you expect any changes to be made in the England playing 11 going into the second match?
I think Mark Wood picked up an injury or something. I read somewhere that he's missing the second test or he's being
I
rested. I'm not
I have
sure.
no idea.
I just saw it
Right,
on
right.
Twitter. So
Yes, yes. Even I have heard that he might miss out.
So maybe as
yeah, so
someone like a Josh Tongue in place of Markwood.
yeah, I mean that will be a natural replacement. I don't think they will. I'm not sure they'll bring in a spinner this time. I don't think Bashir will get a game here either.
Maybe you
But
can bring in someone like a Jacob Pethel because you have four out and out fast bowlers in Stokes, Archer. You've got Cars and you've got who's the fourth one?
Atkinson, Gus Atkinson.
Atkinson. Yeah. So maybe someone like
That
a
could
Jacob
also be
Pethel.
looked
Yeah.
at. Even Will Jacks, for that matter, who can come in at like a number eight and then
Correct.
provide some firepower and some off spin. But I think they will continue with the same combination. They might make changes in terms of like replacing a paceman with a paceman, but I don't think they will add another spinner. With the batting, I think, look, they've been trusting Zach Crawley so much for the past 4 years, and however less dividends it has paid off, I think it'll be very soon to remove him. So I think the batting lineup will stay the same. I think Ollie Pope had a good start, so I think the Jacob Bethel Ollie Pope debate will go on for another while, and Ollie Pope will keep his spot there. So I think the batting lineup will be the same. We might see a change in personnel in terms of the Pacers, but we won't see a change uh in the formation per se.
The million dollar question: will Joe Root get his elusive first Test match 100 in Australia this time around? Or will we have to watch Matthew Hayden dance naked in the stadiums of Australia?
No, he'll get 100 for sure. We are not sure when. I was actually very optimistic that he might get it in the first test, and I made that call. But was horrible in the first test. But I agree with Krishna, and it's actually very saddening to see that England have not produced any great openers after Alistair Cook and Andrew Strauss. I mean, it's
Hmm.
been a legacy where you have Marcus Trescothick and all these brilliant players who have played for England and done so well. But ever since they have left, you don't really see a standout opener that has been there for a while now.
There have been so many great openers from England since Alistair Cook retired. Keystone Jennings, Hasib Hamid, Rory Burns, Dominic
Tom
Sibley,
Michael
Sibley,
Carberry.
uh, Zach Crawley. There was Ben Duckett is still better, but there was one more person who played in India. I don't remember his name, but again, a lot of players. Again, apart from the sarcasm, I agree with Rehan. There have been a lot of chopping and changing, but I think despite the failures that Jack Crawley has given to this England team, I like the thinking of this England setup. Maybe England setup deserves someone like Gautam Gambhir who can come in and just change everything. And maybe you bring in
Please lay
Brandon.
low.
Ha,
Please lay low.
and you bring in Brendan McCallum from England to India, especially for the white ball series, and then you can just expect anything to go haywire, at least in terms for England. But yeah, going into the second test, I would like to hear from the both of you. Highest run scorer from each team, and what are your expectations? Who will win?
Okay, I'll start. Because it's the Gabba, I will say Marnus will be the highest run scorer
Okay.
for Australia. For England, due to a lack of options, I'll have to go with Root. I don't see anyone else. Maybe Duckett comes close, but I would still go with Root. So I would say Marnus and Root. And of course, for bowling, it's going to be Stark all the way.
And Stark from England, bowling.
Uh, from England, Atkinson. No, Scars bowled quite well in the first test, so Cars.
And prediction for winner.
Australia.
And one more
Very
last
one-sided.
prediction. The amount of days this match will go on for.
I think this will last little longer, so 2.5 days.
Interesting. Rehan, now on to you. All questions remain the same.
yeah, I think Australia will keep their stellar record in pink ball and they'll win this test quite comfortably. Uh, Test match could go till day four. I feel England can give that fight. Highest run scorer from Australia, I think it should be Steve Smith. I'll pick the goats. I'll pick Steve Smith and Joe Root from either side. Joe Root is my favorite, so I really want him to score some runs. Bowling, I will pick Atkinson. And from Australia, let me pick Brendan Dodgett if he gets to play.
Yeah. Uh, and yeah, you mentioned day four. Okay. So for me, from England, highest run scorer would be Gus Atkinson. Highest wicket taker would be Ben Stokes. From Australia's point of view, highest run scorer would be the new debutant, Jake Weatherfield or something. I forgotten the name.
Weatherall.
Yeah, Weatherall. And highest wicket taker from Australia, I would go with Scott Boland because I think what he's due now. I think he didn't bowl so impressively in the first innings of the England Test, and I think given the credentials that we've seen from him, it's about time that he picks up 7 or 8 wickets in a Test match. And yeah, I think Australia to win, and I agree with Krishna. It's a day 3 finish. And one more prediction I'll go on to make: the worst player of the match would be Joe Root.
You really want to see Matthew Hayden naked, huh?
Thank you guys. Thank you for watching the video. We'll like to close it right here. Thank you guys. Bye.